Hey, welcome you back to 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Cova Sports TV. We have a special guest with us. He is the head football coach of the Cox Falcons, surging as they go into the playoffs with a record of 8-2 overall, victorious on Friday night by a count of 31-28. It was the 300th all-time win for Cox football, 25th for the man at the helm. Tyler Noe is also a brand new papa, as we found out here recently. Coach, congrats on the win and fatherhood, and life's got to be sweet for you. We're getting close to the holidays, and your team's peaking at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. My son's 7 months old. It's a life changer.
For sure.
Our team was peaking at the right time. I did catch the tail end of that. Who picked Kempsville to beat us?
Ed did. I took the Falcons, yes.
I appreciate that.
Yep, and I got the old, I got to get that new hat. I got the Cox hat. Now, Ed's going to get on me because I did walk the halls years ago, many, many years ago. Lunch was my favorite subject, as Kempsville, he likes to joke. But I did pick you guys. I was down 2, and I said, I got to find 2 games because we send Ed the picks first because you know how calculated he is, Coach. If I go first, he'll just copycat my picks, and there's no way for me to catch him. So I had to give him the picks first. Go ahead, Ed. What you had to say?
No, first of all,
it's the truth. It's the truth.
Congrats on the little one. Season to this point. Number one, and I haven't said it. He now makes me take all the picks, and then he says, I took Cox over Kempsville. I didn't say nothing because 99% chance he had Kempsville, but nobody will know because he has the pen. That's the way he is.
On our VIP board. Go look on Virginia Preps.
All my stuff I'm an open book, as he says. I don't hide nothing. I say what I say when I mean to say it, whether people like it or not. Why did I pick Kempsville over Cox? Because Tyler had a lot going on. He got the little one coming in. He's got to learn how to change diapers. He's got to deal with his wife post having a baby, whatever that is. So he's got to make sure she's okay because she's number one. And a little bit of a distraction. So then I said to myself, I'm going to pick Kempsville because he is so tuned in. He's going to see that and said, this idiot coach don't know nothing about football. I'm going to show him. And it won. I don't want no thanks or whatever. I just gave you a little extra motivation.
I tell Larry Rubama all the time, I appreciate when they pick against us because it's just like extra motivation for our kids.
There you go. You see Marty O'Brien does the picks with Larry. I think Marty's put Larry in his rearview mirror like I'm trying to do with Ed here for the playoffs coming up. But you guys,
that's the only one in the media that picked us this week. So
I am really. How about that? Yeah. I feel honored and privileged. That's why I got the hat on. But listen,
I never look at the picks, but my dad sends them to me every Friday. So I've been using them as motivation with our kids. So I just put that on our whiteboard, and it's a little extra motivation for us.
I'm glad you said it because Ed will back me up on this too, and he's a basketball coach. You guys are so busy in the film and dissect and get ready for the game. People always say, do you care? People send you that stuff, right? Whether you hear about it, you'll have somebody, as much as you try to avoid it, it'll be a coach, a parent, a fan, a player. Somebody will get that to you, whether you see it or not. That's how it works these days, isn't it?
Yeah. And teachers too, like at Cox, everybody all week was asking us about our playoff season, and I preached all week to our kids. It doesn't really matter what anybody else does. If we win, we're right where we want to be. But yeah, everybody was asking me, and if we lost, we were the 6th seed, I believe. But we took care of business once, so we're the 2 seed and host. I'm not quite sure. I think it's Kellam. But
well, I'm glad you asked because I'll put it up here on the screen. You're going to host Kellam. That is the matchup, 5-5. And the 5A we have almost down to a science as far as knowing that this is going to be spot on. The one thing that happened was, we can tell you, is that Salem and Kempsville tied with the same exact power rating. And based off their head-to-head result, if you go back to week 1 in late August, Salem won that game. So that allows Salem to get the tiebreaker over Kempsville. And that means Bayside hosts Salem. Kempsville plays Indian River. Those are both rematches from last year, although they were different seeds. You guys back on the 2 line. Green Run's got the 1 seed taking on the 8 seed in D Creek for the second time in 3 years. By the way, those power ratings were razor close because you guys at 29.5 hold off Indian River by half a point. Bayside at 28.0, Kempsville and Salem at 27.7. So it was really close there. And the beach all year long, Coach, the last couple of years, it feels like we've had these tight battles. You guys lost a game. I want to go back to September. You lost a game to Green Run, but it was really competitive in the second half. They didn't score at all in the second half, 20-7. And it felt like after that, you played 2 games before the bye week, and then you really got your offense revved up after the bye week. What changed for you when you played them within a couple of scores, and then after the bye week? Take me through how this team has evolved and grown from the middle of the season to now.
So you talk about the Green Run game, and I'm sure the stats are out there. Doug Ripley does a great job with our stats. Our stats are out there. We actually had 0 total yards of offense that game, and we still lost to them 20-7. We had a pick six by Kai Rygard, I believe it was, and then we threw a pick six. So our defense really stopped Green Run to 13 points, which was fantastic. Brandon does a great job at Green Run, so kudos to them. But yeah, we went into the bye week. After that, we went back to our basic. We like I say all the time, everybody knows we run triple option. We run a variation of it. We knew we got away from our game plan a little bit in that Green Run game, but we had to get Tyree Jeffries rolling. Like I tell him, I tell the players, once we get 44 rolling, the offense is going to roll. Bray Heron, our quarterback, has really evolved into a really, really good quarterback back there, and just takes the leadership role in the offense, controls the game very well. But going into the bye week, we knew we had 2 weeks to get back to our basics, playing Tallwood coming out after that. And we put up some good numbers in that game, and I think it gave our kids a lot of motivation moving forward. Our defense is always playing great. Brian Graham, our D coordinator, has a great game plan every single week. So we just know if we can put up some points, our defense will probably stop some teams. And just I think that bye week was in the right time for us. We were able to practice for 2 weeks and get back to our basic triple option game and put up some points, and we just been rolling ever since.
One more I'm going to throw your way here before I let Ed jump in, and that's we had a few weeks ago on the show after his commitment to Army, your kicker, Bryson Whithelm, who's had a heck of a year. In fact, 8 field goals made, which I think is more than Drew Jarrett had, who was one of the all-time kickers to come out of the 757 in Virginia. And he said something that was interesting that stuck with me. I asked him about, you guys were getting ready to play. I forget who it was at that time of the year. It might have been Tallwood or forget, doesn't matter. It's really not that meaningful. But the thing I asked him was the last couple of years you've had some heartbreak. And he said, well, I think this could be different because the last couple of years we've had some injuries and the maturity of hearing that from a kicker, sometimes they're not involved with the plays, but to hear that the guys that are returning, did you get that sense as you guys started to pick up a couple of wins, close wins, you're showing improvement in areas that maybe this team has learned from the adversity you've dealt with, be it this year or in the past, to help you on this playoff journey?
Yeah, I think so. This senior class actually just overtook last year's senior class as the most winnings class in Cox history. And we have a lot of guys that have been starters for 3 years on this team, and they're razor focused in. And like you said, Bryson, yes, he is our kicker and punter and the best in the state, I believe. But he's focused in the game plan. He's at practice. He's talking to us about things that he sees on film. He breaks down his own film for special teams. He breaks down film so we can see things on offense and defense. And this team has just come together so much over the past couple of weeks that I do believe that they've seen the heartbreak in the playoffs. And it's been tough, but I think this team has the leadership ability to continue 1 week at a time, but hopefully, continuing on after this week.
For sure. We're talking about Tyler Noe. He's the head football coach of the Cox Falcons. 8-2 on the season, 6 straight wins, and a victory over Kempsville on Friday night, 31-28, to secure the number 2 seed in Region 5A. It's our interview with him on Global Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. You're watching 757 Sports Talk. Ed?
Tyler, one thing I want to know, and you say variation of the triple option, which is probably pretty tough to defend. When you're putting your system together, I know in relationship to basketball, and let's say I want to be a running team. We're going to press all over, run and one. That's how I coach. Well, if you have a team that can't run, that system don't work. You have to adjust to the style player you have. In football, is that the same mentality, or can you make what you have adjust to a version of your triple option?
So I believe that triple option is so good because you leave 2 guys alone, so it's 11 on 9, and that gives us the advantage, so we can get double team blocks. And we don't have the biggest line. That's the other thing. Like, we can't move guys as well as other teams can in the Beach District, right? So we need those double team blocks. We need to leave guys alone. So as long as you have a smart line, a smart quarterback, and read the read key and the pitch key, I think we can adapt to anybody we have, our style of play. We've done it since Coach Stack was the head coach and I was an assistant for him. So it's really what I know and what our assistants know. So we get really good at it, and we practice it every single day, and we just mold it to the guys we have, like you said. But it's logistically, we don't have the biggest line. We can't run a team like Coach Cherry can at Kempsville, right? Because they got a big line. But we're athletic at the line. We know what we're doing, and we just, it's repetition.
And for people that maybe don't know, in your triple option, in the simplest form, it allows your quarterback to either run it himself, throw it, or he can pitch it last minute, which means the defense really if they think they know one thing and all of a sudden something else happens, that's how you get your yardage. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. That is correct. Yeah, we have a run key to hand the ball off, or he'll keep it and he'll pitch off the pitch key, which is usually an outside linebacker or a roll down safety. But it's just to keep the defense guessing. If we make sure that we're right, and they guess, and we just, Tyree Jeffries with this, he's had 5 straight games with over 100 yards rushing. So we are, I think, one of the only teams in the area, if not the state, that runs it. So it's pretty hard to defend from what I hear. So we just keep it rolling.
And Coach, to follow up on that a little bit, you touched on Tyree Jeffrey's success. We hit on your kicker and Bryson, what he's done. But you've had so many players and unsung heroes on this team that have contributed. Some linemen, some defensive guys that are making tackles that people don't get the attention, the limelight, the shine, if you will. I know Grady Swengo has stepped up in a big way, not just catching the football, but running it for you. Jacob Palmerton with a couple of interceptions for you on defense.
2 big picks last night.
Yeah, so he's really made himself one of the better consistent defenders. I remember him made some key plays for you last year. Just speak on some of those guys that have stepped up for you, and it could be, Jacob, Grady. Name some of the players that have helped you on this run here as you try to keep it going for the playoffs.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our whole offensive line, from our left tackle, Isaac Tomas, left guard, Redding Perry, center Jordan Van, right guard, James Cornelius, and our right tackle, Ian McClure. They've really stepped up in a big way for us this year. Then, we go on. Zane Perry, one of our seniors, got a touchdown last night, got a touchdown pass. Our receivers, Elijah Bird and Alex Neff, Rex Miller, slot safety at the beginning of the year, but we had to bring him down when Lincoln Nicosia got hurt. He's playing linebacker for us. It's just, there's so many to name. Elias Field plays safety. Barrett Glasser has been playing lights out this year at safety. We moved him to safety from cornerback. And Kai Rygaard had a pick 6 last night that got called back for apparent and pass interference, which I still don't quite understand that call, but that's neither here nor there. But, it's just Jawan Mack at linebacker for us again this year. It's just the Patrick Robertson, he's our sniffer and our defensive end. He hardly ever comes off the field. It's just like you said, we have unsung heroes on this team, and we don't have one big standout guy. And that's what we've always, molded ourselves around at Cox. We have a lot of unselfish football players. And that's what helps us. Our slots and receivers block for our running backs, our quarterbacks, our pitch guys. There's just so many unselfish football players on this team. And that's part of the reason why we're 8-2 right now.
Workmanlike approach. It keeps getting it done for the Cox Falcons, who are 8-2 on the year, 6 straight wins if they beat Kempsville by a count of 31-28 on Friday night. End up running the football 50 times for 179 yards, and they actually hold Kempsville to just 164 yards. They've been averaging over 250, I think it is, on the ground, and get a couple interceptions as well. As you see, the Falcons 8-2 on the year, getting ready to host the number 7 seed Kellam at 5-5, who have the area's leading receiver in Aaron Smith, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah,
he's very good. Very good. Yeah.
He's very good. But I'm gonna get out of my basketball coaching stance here and say, Cox wins this game. I don't want to put any.
Here he goes. He's going to jinx it now, Coach.
Right. I don't want to jinx him, and then Tyler's mad at me for the rest of the whatever. I think they win this, and that second round is going to be interesting because I can't put my finger on Indian River Kempsville right now. I know where I'm leaning, but and I know I'm not asking Tyler nothing past Kellam, because that's only his focus is Kellam and the little one at home now. So I understand that. But
Indian River's got themselves a good old freshman quarterback over there. I know that much.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. See, he's got an eye. That's one thing about these football coaches. They got an eye. They say, "Oh, we got to take care of Kellam. I ain't talking about nothing else." But he's already watched film on Indian River. he's already dissected Kempsville 100% because they played us.
I have not. But we made that mistake a couple years back, overlooking an opponent. So really? I won't make that mistake again. That was a first year for me. Didn't overlook anybody, but we wanted to look into the second round, so we broke down some film and we probably shouldn't have. But sure, that karma's a what. So they came back to haunt me. So we won't do that again. And Brian's got a great team over there at Kellam. And like you said, Aaron's a heck of a football player. He's a game changer. You see it on every single film, every team they play. You put the ball in number one's hands over there, he can score a touchdown in any single play.
I'm curious because I've asked this to Ed. We've talked about it a lot on the show. Your perspective. Do you draw much when you get to the playoffs in November? And you played Kellam back on September 26th. You won that game 24-7. Do you take a whole lot from the last meeting against the team, and certainly during the season more than a previous season? Or do you try to throw a lot of that out as you prepare for Game 11? It is a brand new season. Everybody's sort of 0-0. What's sort of your feel on that? And you're no longer the new coach of this. You've done it a couple years here, and I know there's a lot of the heartbreaking sting from what happened the last 2 years in the playoffs. But what's sort of your approach here as you move into it this week?
We're going to game plan just like we were playing Kellam the first time. But we also know that it's win or go home for both teams. So I know Coach Neese will throw some stuff at us that we haven't seen yet on offense and defense and special teams, and we'll probably do the same thing when I meet with my offensive coaches tomorrow morning and game plan. We'll come up with a good game plan on how to keep our offense rolling, get Tyree the ball, get Grady involved in the game plan. I think he had like 8 or 10 catches against Kellam last game we played, so I know they'll make an adjustment to that as well. But like I said, we just keep playing our game on offense, defense, and special teams, and we just see how it goes. And hopefully, we either see Kempsville again or Indian River comes to town.
There you have it, Ed.
One thing I know you mentioned a lot of your players, Tyler. I like to ask coaches who are going deep into the season and the playoffs, is there a kid or two that at the beginning of the year you didn't really – all you knew was his number maybe. You didn't really know him and whatever. But he's come through the season and he's done a lot of things that in your staff meetings, y'all look at each other and say, hey, man, if it wasn't for that Hatfield kid, man, he's come a long way. And he's done some good things. Is there a player or two that you can throw a name out?
Yeah, I would start with our right tackle, Ian McClure. He came in. He didn't play any last year. He was replacing Brady McQueen, who was our right tackle playing up at Shenandoah now. And we knew that we had some weaknesses on the line, but Ian has really stepped up. He was actually the right tackle and created a nice wall for Tyree on that last touchdown we scored last night. And then Bray Heron, Bray came into the season as the backup quarterback behind MJ Lemke. And we had to make a change at quarterback, and, Bray's taken over the offense and really been able to run triple option for us and control the offense out there. So, those two on offense, and then defense, it's always been a big collective group, but I would say our defensive end, senior Tyler Lewis, has really stepped up. I don't think we projected him to be the starter going into the season, but he has played tremendous out there at our left defensive end. So, those are probably the three guys that I would say off the top of my head.
Love it. Well, it's been a blast chatting with you today. And again, thank you so much for coming on and also getting that win to make sure that I tied up Ed in the picks. Because had I lost to a basketball coach by 2, I wouldn't have lived it down the rest of the year.
You wouldn't have heard the end of it.
Listen, they say a tie is like kissing your sister, but not for me. It's better than a loss to that guy. So I'll take it, and I wish you all the best.
It takes me back to my assistant days with Coach Stack. You say it all the time.
Yes, exactly. Tie's better than the loss of the So
let me interject before we let Tyler go.
Okay,
Tyler, you might have heard this in the meetings back in the day when Stack was coaching. We had Stack on. We had back when we had a radio show.
Oh boy.
I said, Stack, you're a grizzled veteran. You run. Put the damn fleet flicker end around, guard in the backfield who throws it just as you hand it to him right over the line when you're 4th and 1. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right before he retired, there was a play he ran similar to that. And he said, coming on later, he said, I remember that basketball coach telling me to do something. We already had it in the playbook, but we finally tried it, and it worked. So, Tyler, I ain't going to tell you nothing other than you better have a flea flicker, end around, or guard in the backfield play somewhere. You might need it someday.
Stack always had a good into the game when we would call a trick play. So I'm trying to get that feel from him. We did against Tallwood the first play of the game. We threw a halfback pass with Rex Miller throwing it to Grady Swango, which I think sparked us. But I get a little nervous calling trick plays, but Stack loved it. So I try to crack his brain at school all the time, talking to him about things. So he's just a great mentor still for me. Great resource.
No doubt. And I'm sure that will be in your brain if you're in a 1-point playoff game with 6 seconds to go. Oh yeah, Coach Young said do this. Yeah, I don't think that'll be in the thought process whatsoever at that point here. But we wish you and the Falcons all the best on your quest to making it to Thanksgiving weekend and making a deep run in Region 5A. And we'll talk with you soon.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yes, here's the big question. Have you mastered changing the diaper yet?
No. Well, kind of, but my wife worked a couple Saturdays ago, so I was with Colt all day, and he was like throwing things off when I was changing his diaper and getting the dirty diaper all over the place. It was quite frustrating. I don't know how she does it when I'm at football, between taking care of him, cooking dinner. So when I get home at 6:30 or 7, then putting him to bed. So she's a saint. I don't know how she does it.
Yep.
So
the wives, the real MVPs.
Yes,
on these football coaches and teams. Well, all the best.
You can hear me right now too, so they got some brownie points.
There you go. That means 1 or 2 less chores you have to do this weekend, right?
Correct. Yeah, I can watch college football today.
Hey, it should be a fun one. Well, Tyler Noe, thank you so much for coming on. All the best to you and the Falcons, and we'll chat again soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you all for having me.
Good luck, Tyler.
Thank you.
The head football coach of the Frank W. Cox Falcons, 8-2, and they're the number 2 seed coming up in Region 5A, taking on the 7th-seeded Kellam Knights. We've got more scores, high school football chatter, and playoff projections for all of you out there on 757 Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to Kova Sports TV on the YouTube and interact with us all morning long. And we've got brackets coming your way next, right here on Kova Sports TV. But a quick word from those that help make it possible for us.